this is Christine with CocoaDaisy, and today I wanted to share with you my setup for April using the April CocoaDaisy kits. And this month's theme is all about cherry blossoms and paper cranes and beautiful patterns and colors, and kind of the whole idea of serenity and letting go and hope is kind of the underlying theme. So we had a lot of fun with this and a lot of fun with all the beautiful patterns that are in this month. I decided to kind of highlight the jade tones and the turquoise tones. So I went with my Vanderspec planner. And if you're not familiar with Vanderspec, I absolutely love their planners. They're completely custom. So when you go to their website, you can pick out the size of the rings, which is what I need. It's the biggest selling factor, because then I can get the larger rings because I always have a bulky planner. You can pick out the outside leather, the inside leather, and then the stitching colors as well. And to some degree, the pocket configurations. So I'm going to start with what I did in my pockets, because that's kind of where we always start. And then when I start laying out my planner and I decide kind of how I want to build up my layers, that's where I always begin. And that's kind of the fun part for me, is building up this kind of like almost like a little inspiration board or a mood board. So every day when I open my planner, that's what I see first. So I really enjoy doing that. So what I've done is, of course, some tags and some of the die cuts. There's a few bows and clips in that I've put in here. And one thing I wanted to mention about the tags, you always see me do tags, and I always like to try and find new ways to make tags to put in. And I always try to think of ways of recycling as well, or upcycling, however you want to put it. So one of the things I have in here first is one of the cards from the Pocket Memory Keeping Kit. So that's one of the journaling cards that I thought was really pretty. And you can see I really kind of lean toward the, like I said, the jades and the blues and the turquoises here. What I did, so this is the tag that came in the kit. So I just used that as is. But then I wanted another tag that had the pretty cherry blossoms on. And there's a couple of things you could do. For mine, what I did is I used the packing card that comes in your kit when it's shipped to you, and I just trimmed off the Cherish Blossoms part, and then I traced one of the tags, used one of the ring reinforcers from the planner stickers, and put that on there. So that's how I created that tag. You could do the same thing if you didn't want to cut up your packing card. You could do the same thing and use some of the packaging from one of the items that came in the kit. So again, you just kind of cut off the logo on the top there and trace it out, and you could use that to make a tag as well. So that's just kind of a way to reuse some of those items. And then for this little tag, I wanted to mention some in both the memory keeping sticker kit and in the planner sticker kit, you will get some of the, actually let me pull it out here. You will get these rectangles, and I don't use, they're meant more for people who do their planning and say like the Happy Planner or the Erin Condren type of planner where there are the boxes to fill in. But the stickers are so beautiful that I like to find different ways to use them. And so one of the things that I did is I actually took this sticker and put it on the little tag there and just kind of filled it in and put a ring reinforcer around it. So it's just part of the tag. So always remember to think outside the box. They're not just meant for putting in a box sticker. You could cut them up. You could die cut them. You could use a circle punch or even an arrow punch and create arrow stickers out of them. So there's a lot of different things that you can do with those if you just think of them as a little bits of pattern. So that's what I wanted to mention about that. And then I'm just going to page through a minute and talk about how I did my setup. And the first thing, this this overlay was not part of the kit. It was just one that I had that I put in here. And then what I'm doing, I'm using, actually, I always get 2 sets of inserts so that I have an extra set to play around with and try and come up with ideas to show you all. But then that always gives me leftovers as well. So what I did is I'm using the striped pages for 2 things. I'm using them for meal planning, and I'll show you that in a minute, but then also kind of like a brain dump kind of weekly schedule. And what that is I can look at the week coming up. I usually do this Sunday night, the week coming up, and then I can just write in kind of the key points or the big things that I need to do that week. And it just kind of helps me wrap my head around what days are going to be busy, what days have appointments, and so on, and try and fill in what I need to get done that week. And one of the things that I've been trying is different ways to add the dates to these. That's subtle. Last month, what I did is I actually found a bunch of inks that matched each one of the stripes, so it kind of had a real subtle tone-on-tone effect when I stamped it. And I wanted to kind of do that again this month, but I thought, well, instead of getting out a bunch of inks, what if I just did clear embossing? And that's what I did, and it turned out really neat. So what I did is I stamped it with some Versamark ink, and that's clear, and then I used clear embossing powder. White embossing powder would have been really pretty as well. Maybe I'll do that next month. And then I just heat embossed that, and so you can see they're kind of raised, and then that has the numbers, but it's real subtle, so I thought that was really pretty. And then on the back of each one, I had these circle stickers from the Traveler's Notebook Memory Keeping Kit, and I just kind of cut them off the page a little bit, and then I just stamped brain dump, so I can always put some more notes on the back of these pages as well. And then the overlay, and this was in the classified, the planner classified kit. So I put that there, and I thought it layered in so pretty with the pages that it was on. And then this is kind of next to my calendar page. I just created a page that has kind of a daily schedule that I'm trying to get to, and I'm getting better and better at this. So even though you may have a goal that seems like it's taking months and years to get to, if you keep it in front of you, then it's something you will keep trying to do. Some puffy stickers and some of the foam words were from the Traveler's Notebook Memory Keeping Kit. And again, you're going to see a bunch of my pages are from the printables. And I absolutely love our printables. They are free, and they come in all different, they have all different page sizes, which I like to use all the different page sizes through mine. I think it's fun to layer. It also has one of the packing cards on there. If for some reason you did not get one in your kit or you want an extra one, it has that. There's some great little labels. And then there's always bits and pieces that you can cut out. Let's see if I can find them. So this has the pretty cherry blossom branches and some of the origami cranes, which would be fun to cut out too and use for die cuts. And then my calendar page, and for my calendar page, I added a few die cuts. There's a sticker, and then a few of the images that I cut out from the printable pages. And one of the things I wanted to mention was in the Traveler's Notebook Memory Keeping Kit, there was a stamp set that had these cute airplanes. And I wanted to, so I used the airplane die cuts, but I wanted to add the little tails that show the motion. But I didn't want to stamp over my lettering, and I didn't want to stamp all the way off the page. So I wanted to just show you a quick trick. If you want to stamp but have it stop, what you can do is just put a piece of scrap paper next to where you're stamping, and then that will cover up the area you don't want the stamp to fall on. So you would just, when you're stamping, you would just lay down your scrap paper and stamp right over top of all of that. And then when you pull that away, then it has that nice clean edge. And I did the same thing here by the G under shipping. I didn't want it to go into the word shipping or over top of it. So I just laid that down, and then when I stamped it and lifted it up, it was nice and clean. So just a little trick for that. And then just a couple of stickers that I added to the back of that. And then the daily pages, when you get these, let me flip to, they're meant to be used as a 2-page spread, but when you get them, obviously then you start and you have this 1 page, and what do you do with it? You can leave it as is and just ignore it, or what you can do is actually cover it up. So I use one of the dashboards to adhere to the other side of that so that my month starts right open as the 2-page spread. So I'll attach the dashboard, and then I used a couple of these little glitter dots that were left over from last month. And that's one thing that we tried to do on purpose a little bit, is have a few of the colors kind of be common so that you can stretch your supplies and use them with other months. So there's a few of these little pink glittery enamel dots that I added here and there throughout, and those are from the March kit. And then another one of the printables, and then I just stamped, there was from the Traveler's Notebook Memory Keeping Kit, there was the little stamp that says a rainy day. I put that on there, and this is kind of my to-do list that I'm working on. And on the back is some pattern paper. This Relax was from the free printable, and then just a little cherry blossom sticker. And again, I love how this looks with all of the layers. I think it's fun when everything isn't exactly the same size. The Be Your Best Self is one of the dashboards. The dashboard set, or the dashboard kit, comes with 2 sizes, the A5 and the personal. And I mix them both in my kit. So this one I just cut down to look like a big tag. I added some of those ring reinforcers. And then I used this to hold some of my sticky notes. And then again, you can see where I added a few of those little enamel dots from last month. But I thought this was so pretty how it kind of blended in. And I might tuck in a little picture or something there as well. And then I always like to tuck in a few little note cards from the Pocket Memory Keeping Kit. So I thought these were really pretty. And then this one has the month on it, which is a nice little reference. And then on the back of that, I added this one with my one little word. And then a pocket. And I make this pocket using my Silhouette die cut machine. And again, it's a little bit of a smaller size, but I like that. I love seeing all the layers. And I stamped the What a Beautiful Day. This was from, I'm not sure which kit that was from. I think that was from last month or the coming up month. I'm not sure. So I might have used a stamp set that was a sample from next month. So you might be getting a peek. I don't remember. There's so many of them floating around. And then a few little die cuts. And you'll see, because I'm using my planner with the larger rings, that gives me the ability to create layers a little bit more. So I add some foam adhesive just to kind of raise some things up. So you'll notice that a little bit. And then on this side, I used a couple of die cuts, and then just one of my cute little clip toppers. This was not from any, that's just from my stash. And then for my bookmark, I cut the bookmark out using my Silhouette, and then I added one of the personal size dashboards. But what it did is, obviously it's not big enough to fit on the bookmark, so I could have used the A5 size, but it would have cut the words off a lot more. So I wanted to use the personal size, but it's not the full size. So I used the cloud paper, and then I used the stamp set. Again, this was the one that was in the Traveler's Notebook Memory Keeping Kit. And I stamped some of the airplanes on a separate piece of paper, cut them out, and then just added the little tails on there. And then that just kind of brings this and the background together. And I raised them up with little foam adhesives. I thought that was fun. And then I had the same thing on the other side. So I used this pretty hexagon paper to cut out my background, but then again I had the personal size dashboard that I wanted to put over top. So to kind of mesh those all together, I cut out some of the hexagons from the pattern paper and I laid them over top in a few spots and I raised them up with a little bit of foam adhesive. And what you see here, this was kind of a fun trick. So before you adhere this with the foam adhesive, you lay it down flat, stamp. So I stamped the Daily To Do. I pulled it off and then I stamped Daily To Do again. And then I added it with the foam adhesive, so it kind of gives it this three-dimensional look with the way that the image is stamped. So that was fun. Then a few more, again, of the little glittery dots. And then we'll skip through all of these pages because these are just my daily pages. And this bookmark is from the printable. And then I just added the little what's cooking, and then die cut and one of the foam words. And then this is the section I was mentioning where I'm going to use the striped pages as my menu planning. And I don't date these because one month I may not use them, and I mean, so it's fine for me to just kind of leave those undated. I can kind of look at the week. I don't need to have the dates on them, but I do like stamping the word food on the top so I know what that's for. And then I just added some stickers in that on the back for my grocery list. So that is the food section. And then this was the pretty gold foiled vellum that we got in the classified planner add-on kit, I believe. And then one of the larger dashboards. And then I just added one of the journaling note cards. And then I always add a kind of subdivided section in this section, and these are the personal dashboards that I create for that. And then this one, I added a little bit of the pom-pom fringe, which I started doing every month just because I think it's so cute. And I think this pattern is probably one of my favorites. I love that pattern. And then this one, the note cards that you get, also don't think of those as just a square. Again, they have artwork on them that you can cut out and use as a die cut, and that's what I did here. I didn't want to just stick the whole square on there, but I thought this was so pretty and it went so nice on this pretty jade green. So I cut that out and then just put it in the corner, and I thought that turned out cute. And then another piece of the vellum. And something I wanted to mention that's new, in the planner add-on kit, we always have a pack of die cuts. And we've started including these cute little die cuts that are kind of like little tabs with the words. So what you could do is you could use these as little side tabs. You could use them as smaller top tabs. You could use them like the today and the not today. You could put on bookmarks. So there's a lot of different fun things that you could do with those. I wanted to point those out because that's something that's kind of new. And the goals section. And then this one is, again, it's from a printable, and I added some of the puffy stickers. These, I wanted to show this because it was kind of a fun little technique. So these little teacups I cut out of the printable, but just to kind of give it kind of a fun layer, what I did is I stuck them down, but the middle one I only stuck down on this side, and then on this side I tucked a little bit of foam adhesive, so that one's just kind of raised up. So it just kind of gives it that little bit of dimension, which is fun. This is from the printable as well. So you can see I used a lot of bits from the printable. And then the last one, and then I just stuck the little Simon card in the back. Here I have to, you know, obviously add all my personal stuff once the month starts, but I thought he was cute. So that is my setup for the month. And then I wanted to show a couple of other things this month. So the pen for this month, our Daisy pen this month, has this beautiful pattern with the cherry blossoms on it and then the pink crystals inside. And of course the daisy on top, but that turned out so pretty. And then something else that is really fun that we did, this is brand new, And this, if you were wondering what it was, we did include a little note, but if you're wondering what this was, it's a washi tape board. So we did two things. We included the tassel with it that you can put on it if you like. If you want, you can use that hole to just put it right in your planner. Or if you want to put the tassel on your pouch, or even just hang the tassel on your planner. So there's a lot of things you can do with the tassel that was, if I can get it off, the tassel that was included with the kit. Okay, too much coffee this morning. I can do this. All right, so I wanted to mention the reason we did these washi boards is it's something just to help cut down on bulk. If you do a lot of planning on the go, carrying something like this around takes up a lot of space. Whereas you can just take some strips and wrap them around the little washi board and take that with you. It fits right in your planner. It would fit right in your, if you use one of the Dori booklets, it would fit right in a little pocket in the Dori booklet, or of course in the pencil pouch. So that's something fun that we included that's new, and it has this pretty etched pattern on it. So that is the washi tape board, and then the pencil pouch, which turned out just so pretty. It kind of, the whole thought behind this was to kind of give off the look of a beautiful kimono, and it turned out so pretty. And I attached, there was a little acrylic paper crane, that charm that was included in the main planner kit, and so I attached him to my pouch, and I thought that turned out so cute. And then I wanted to talk a little bit about the notebooks, and I'm going to move this out of the way, make it a little easier. So the Traveler's Notebook Memory Keeping Kit comes with the Simple Dori. And so a couple of options. So I'm going to let you in on a little secret. We are working on having bigger papers made so that you will be able to wrap around your Dori booklets, and you'll be able to cut out A5 tabs and so on. So that's something that's coming. That won't be here until the July kit, and I'll give a demonstration of what those look like when those come in. But so I'm letting you in on that little secret. Until then, I wanted to share a few ideas on what to do with your booklets if you're trying to cover them and you don't know what to do with the paper because the paper doesn't necessarily fit. There's a few fun things that you can do. One of the things you can do with the Traveler's Notebook Memory Keeping Kit, or the Simple Dori, is this is made with a pattern on the front and the back. And actually, the June Simple Dori will have the same pattern go all the way around. But if you just simply take off the craft cover, it looks like it's a patterned cover. Because it has the logo on the back, it looks like the back page. So you have a patterned cover all set, ready to go. You just have to take off the craft around it. So that's one thing that you can do. The other, oh, and this was the cute little charm and elastic band that came in the Traveler's Notebook Memory Keeping Kit. And I believe we have some of those kits left at this time. I think there's a few left. But I wanted to just kind of, I showed this in my instruction sheet, but I wanted to mention it as well, that what that is for, it's kind of a self-serving thing that I included. When I get done with mine, they're always kind of bulgy and I kind of need to keep everything together. And that's what that elastic band will do. It will go around it and hold everything together. So that's what that is for. Then, so if you have a standard Dori and you're wondering how to cover this, and again, you could just take the craft right off because it has a front and a back. The artwork goes around, so you have a front and back. You could just take the craft right off of that. But if you wanted to wrap something around this, so the paper sizes are currently, I think it's 6.5 by 8.5. So what you would do is take 2 sheets, I'll show you that in a moment. So you would take 2 sheets and you would trim them both to the correct height. So you would trim off just that little bit on the top. Now I'm using a standard dory, but whatever size you have, it will work. So you would just trim off if you were using a personal or or a mini, or our new sizes, the A6, the A5. You would just trim off whatever you need to for the height. Then what I did is I took the first page and I lined it up, and then I took my little scoring tool and I scored right along the edge. Then I went out just a teeny bit and I created, I don't know if you can see that, I created almost a teeny little spine. So I went over just a little bit and scored again. And then that gives you that little bit of room so it kind of lays in there a little nicer. And then what you do, so you will have that and it will fit around it like that. So you can see how that fits around that a little bit nicer because I've almost scored like a little bit of a spine. Then what you do is you take your other piece of paper, and I just kind of slid it in almost all the way into the spine. So you can see where that is. Oh, there we go. So I slid that in, and then you trim off the extra. So you can see, so it was 2 sheets, and then I trimmed off the extra, and I adhered that down. And so then that creates my cover. So it's basically just taking the 2 sheets and creating your cover. So here's your front and here's your back. Now, yes, there's a seam. There's a couple things you can do with that to actually make that kind of decorative. You could put down a piece of washi tape. You could put down a contrasting thin strip of paper. I would cut this even thinner and lay that down over top so that you have what looks like an intended stripe of pattern paper. You could do a zigzag stitch, which would be really, really cute, which is what I think I'm going to do. You could do a zigzag stitch down that. If you have a border punch, you could take a strip of paper and you could border punch on both sides so it's decorative and put that down. So there's a lot of different things that you could do to make that seam look completely intentional. And then on the front then, of course, there's no seam. So that is a couple of the things that you can do to cover your Dory booklets with the paper sizes as they are now. And that's all I have for you today. I hope you found some things that will inspire you going through the month and give you some ideas. And as always, if you have any questions or if you need anything, just post it in the comments below and I'll be happy to get back with you as soon as I can. And again, thank you all so much for supporting Cocoa Daisy. We wouldn't be here without you.